Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 11 of Head in the Cloud, Heart in the Community. My name is Holly Lehman. You can find me on Twitter at Lehman__Holly. I would love to connect with you. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. We are very excited. We have a very special guest with us. And as you all know, I never travel virtually alone ever because I have one of my nearest and dearest with me, always traveling. Izzy, thank you for joining us today and being the one that gets to celebrate our special guest. So take it over from here.
Hi, Holly. Thank you very much. And hi, everyone. So excited for episode 11 because today we have a guest that I personally admire. She calls herself a princess, although I believe she's a queen. So let's head over to Germany where we're going to talk to Luise Freese. So before I quickly intro you, Luise, say hi to our audience.
Hi there. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you, Luise. So for the ones who might not know Luise, she is a Microsoft MVP. She's based in Germany. She's very active on Twitter. She has a lot of side hustles next to her full-time consultancy job, which we will all dive into the recording today to hear more about Luise. So let's start. Luise, tell us about being a Microsoft MVP, being a member of the Microsoft 365 PMP team. There's so much about you that we would love to know. So tell us about it.
Okay, so apart from being really, really bad in French grammar, I'm a Microsoft. Oh, that's true. So ask my French teacher. So I do M365 consultancy. I'm an independent consultant based in Germany. I do low-code development with Power Platform. I'm an MVP for Office Apps and Services. Since December, new member of the Microsoft 365 P&P team. I run a side hustle, which is a sticker store. I started to cook in pandemic and run a nice website which is called thatkitchenprincess.com. I am totally addicted to Lego, and yes, well, I have coffee. Cheers.
Cheers.
And for those that are listening that might not know what the PMP acronym is, because I always joke as a program manager at Microsoft that there's a new acronym a new day. So for those that are listening, Luise, what's PMP?
So PMP is patterns and practices, and within the Microsoft 365 PMP team, so this is a virtual team consisting of Microsofties and non-Microsofties, mostly MVPs, and we just help everyone use M365 and extend M365, which means we provide them with guidance and samples and trainings and patterns to just reuse so that no one needs to reinvent the wheel, but it's just closely together, tied in a community of super enthusiasts who are glad to share their knowledge.
I love it. I love the cross collaboration. And I just realized I am the lucky one today. I am sitting on a call with two female MVPs. So how lucky am I? This is an example for anybody listening that is thinking about being an MVP. We have two of the best examples, and I would highly encourage anybody listening, female or not, to please, keep this MVP community growing. And when we think about community, a lot of the community will always ask Izzy and I, hey, how did you get into tech? What is your passion about? And, we have our own story. But for people listening, Luise, tell us, how did you get into tech? And what is that piece of tech that you are passionate about and that you love?
Okay, so how did I got into tech? I think it was my very first boyfriend who introduced me into tech. And when I was in German equivalent of high school, I ran my very first IT project. So we needed to upgrade, I don't know, it was just 50 or 60 machines from Windows 3.11 to Windows 95. So now you know how old I am. So this is not good. So we will just reject that, okay, later on.
Yeah.
Just kidding, of course.
Insert here.
So okay. So I ran this first IT project, and it was just super mind blown, because even then everyone was super helpful, and it was just kind of nice to find a way to make people's life easier. And the way I made it easier was just like by providing a nice routine, when to install what, and how to get started with a new operation system for my colleagues and co-students. And I just like found it really, really good. And later on, so I studied laws and economics, and I do have a master in business communications, but still I was always just like tied into this tech world. So I had jobs in tech a lot, and at some certain point, I decided, hey, this should just like be my main job. I really found a passion in that. So I stumbled somehow in IT by coincidence, but it stayed on purpose.
That's awesome. We keep hearing that, don't we, Izzy? A lot of
Yeah,
people just
indeed.
kind of stumble into this. That's a
Indeed.
good story, though. I love it.
I always love the backstories, indeed, of how people ended up in tech, or maybe an in between stop. Right? It doesn't mean that this is the end, right? I mean, Luise is still such a young soul, so who knows? Maybe that kitchen princess really takes off, and
We will see.
yeah. So we'll talk about that later. So first, about the M365 princess. So that's the blog that you write, m365princess.com. Tell us how you started into blogging, the topics you cover, what it means to you to write on your blog, like also the feelings and emotions that come with writing.
Yeah. So when I started blogging, it was more just like, so it felt like an obligation, just like, but now I need to blog because I want to know, or I want that people know about me and know about the work that I do and know about the value that I could bring to the table when they would hire me for their projects. But when I really got into writing, it was more like, I did this for myself. So I solidify my knowledge, because if I don't know anything about something and then decide, hey, I should write a blog post about that, then I need to know everything about that certain thing.
Yeah.
So it's the best way to learn from me. And then I start writing and I get into that. And of course, I need to prepare something to really figure it out, how it should work, and take my screenshots. And then there will be just like something that does not work as expected. And then I need to dig into that. And then I need to explain. And it's just like, it feels like more like being a detective. And it's just like super fun. And I really like this. And I just describe it as it is. So I do not write documentation, but I really describe how I encounter things. And it seems as people do like it, because so I see this in the analytics of my blog posts, that views number are really, really nice to see. But what I love the most about it is that people are reaching out to me and say, hey, I really found so much of value in this blog post because you helped me with XYZ. And this is the most rewarding moment ever, because although I first write it for myself, just like to solidify my knowledge and even to use it like a learning diary.
Yeah.
It's just like so good if you get this feedback that you helped someone, and even if you think, but this was just like super basic and everyone knows that. No, not everyone. So there will be people for whom that is still new and that exactly needed that piece of content, and it means the world to them that you wrote it down.
Yeah.
So,
well, and I quickly want to jump in there, Luise, because I remember also once, or maybe even more than once, you had an issue somewhere with some program, and then you went to Google the answer, and you actually ran into your own blog to find the answer to the problem.
Best part ever. So if you are searching and find your own, so then you just like scroll through the search results, and then you're like, oh wow, that is a smart person who writes about that, who runs the the smart person is me. How cool is that? that moment is just like really, really, really rewarding. And I see it like, okay, I share what I know. And if that is what you needed to know, cool. And if you can append on that or expound that on your own blog, happy for that as well. So there is no competition between authors. This is what I love about community, that everyone just like values the very unique views of all contributors. Because if we three would look on the same topic, each of us would have their very unique view depending on the technical skills, experience, people we work together with, problems we are used to solve, techniques we are already aware of, and so on. And then we would come to conclusions and write about that in a very, very different way. And this way we can just like cater more audiences. So the more the merrier.
Well, and what I like about blog posts versus just documentation is all of the people that I follow, yourself included, their personality comes out in that blog. And I think that's what makes your blog so special is your personality. It just comes out. You make your post fun. You make your blogs relevant. They're not so deep that someone, just feels overwhelmed. They, when I read it, I'm like, oh, I learned, I walk away learning something. And so I think you're showing our audience that when you're passionate about something, you can have fun with it and enjoy what you're doing. And you're doing this right now with your Pimp Your Own Device stickers. So tell us a little bit about that. And I think the reason this was interesting to me to talk about is people need to realize whatever your passion is, you can make it part of your side hustle. You can make it part of your day-to-day job. So you made stickers part of your job. So tell us about.
Yeah, I mean, that was the coolest idea of last year to just like decide, hey, let's run a sticker business. So I teamed up with a colleague and we ran a sticker business called pimpierondevice.com, and it is a shop. And of course, we come up with nice stickers like this one, just like works on my machine. And everyone who says that needs to put $5 into a swear jar. So now this is separate. And thing is, we did not just say, hey, we will use a service for this shop like Shopify or something like that, but we built everything from scratch on our own. So I am more a citizen developer maker. My business partner Elias Ruff is more like a developer, and we just like teamed up and we brought together the best of both worlds, and we took this as a learning opportunity. And of course, this side hustle so often serves as a blueprint or just like as a use case for me to blog about. Because if I don't know, so we for instance, we have a SharePoint list in which we have all our stickers. It's our inventory. And if I now want to blog about, hey, what about SharePoint list formatting? Then I will use that list as an example. And I will show in a real world scenario how that works. And I do not have test 1, test 2, test 3 as items in my list, but just like actual stickers. So it is a product. And so we do not only learn from that, but it gives me also blogging opportunities. And that exposes me, of course, to the market. And then it's part of my business model as well. So it really ties in nicely together. And I mean, it's stickers. How cool is that?
I was just thinking it's stickers. Who would think there'd be so much power behind a sticker? But
there is so much more than just stickers, because I learn so much each and every single day. Not only about the tech that we use to run this shop, but also, so we started just like designing the stickers or having a nice idea. And now we own our whole supply chain. So we print on our own and we cut on our own. Of course, we ship and fulfill and invoice. So we just improved this business, and we all did that from scratch. So I'm really excited about that and still very, very passionate about it. And even if it's not the most easiest time to start a business, because we started that almost exactly 1 year ago, and we know what happened in that year. So we'll not talk about that.
Yeah, when you think about it, Luise, maybe the timing was even perfect, because before we could get our stickers at conferences, we could trade stickers, we could get stickers, we could pick them up at the booth, at community sessions, and so on. Right. Now, like for a year, we have not been given that opportunity, right? So I think actually, when you think about it, it's the perfect timing, because people who really like stickers and want new ones, they can go to Pimp Your Own Device and order them there. Yeah. All right. So speaking of those side hustles, that was a great question, Holly, because of course, I also love stickers. I also ordered stickers, the unicorn ones, the magically. So, yeah, speaking of those side hustles, Louise, so I follow you actively on Instagram, on Twitter, and your social platforms. And you were posting pictures of food. I very often comment on your pictures because it's like, oh my God, okay, I'm coming over. And
You
seriously,
are
if
so
there was no,
invited.
yeah, if there was no pandemic, I mean, we checked, right? We're like 5 hours apart by a direct train. So
Yeah, yeah.
technically, I could seriously just visit you for the weekend. But anyway, so you started your blog, continuing the princess life.
Yeah.
So thatkitchenprincess.com. Tell us more about that side hustle, like your passion for cooking, and especially the part where you add gin and the part where you never follow measurements. So tell us.
Okay, okay. So here's the thing. Almost every time when I think I can't do X, whatever it is, so just like a placeholder, at some certain point in my life to just do regardless if I think that I can't. So I thought I can't do tech. I thought I can't run. Now I run a half marathon.
Yeah.
I thought I can't draw. Well, turns out I can. I thought I can't bake. Well, so I thought I'm not just like good in the kitchen because I really didn't like it because I had this false belief and this association of, yeah, just a plain boring housewife, and I never wanted to be that, and therefore I was just like avoiding to cook. And then I learned in pandemic because I was bored and at home, and I mean we were all just like breaking our own banana bread. At that stage of pandemic I was like, okay, I should really give it a try. And when I don't know about something I will write a blog, but as cooking and baking was not about, so it did not fit the theme of the m365princess.com. So I just thought, okay, so I will stick to my princess theme. So I even have a crown. I will show you later. Yeah, that's
Every
awesome.
princess needs a crown.
Of course. Glad you understand me. So I thought, okay, that kitchenprincess.com could be an idea. And then I was just like writing down what I started to bake and what I started to cook. And I figured out so no, I did not figure it out at that point. So I knew before that I like gin. So if you like, if you ask me what is your drink of choice, I would say it's a gin tonic, please. And funny
That's
enough,
fantastic.
I have a gin bottle with a flower
Oh,
on
that's
my
really
desk,
cute.
and it is the botanist. So it kind of is upcycling for the flower. Because botanicals, and I really like gin. So I thought, hey, what about writing about drinking gin while baking? Wouldn't that make everything just like more fun and more relaxed? And turns out it is more fun. And if you like a little tipsy, just like not totally wasted, but just like a little tipsy, everything is better. And you don't take it that seriously, and you don't measure everything. And if it's just like a little bit more or less of this or that ingredient, you don't really care. And most people would say that measuring everything super correctly is just like super important when you bake.
Yeah.
It's a lie. Don't trust them. So they would just like try to trick you into something. So I never measure anything, and it turns out that it's good. So I have no idea if it would be even better if I measured everything, but I have more fun while doing it and being that punk rock girl and not measuring anything.
Such
It is
a
funny
rebel.
though, because my mom is an amazing cook. She's not a baker, she's a cook. And I never grew up learning how to cook from her because she's like you, a little bit of this, some of this, a little of that. And so I've had to figure it out. Like, and now my food is tolerable, but it just shows that you can teach yourself anything if you really want to. And you have taught yourself about Power Apps and Power Platform. So
Yep.
tell our audience whether they're thinking of starting into tech or diving into a new technology. How did you get into Power Apps and Power Platform, and where are you at now, and why do you find it so, like, your passion around it? I've seen so many blogs from you about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I started a Power Platform with Microsoft Flow back in the days. So it's now called Power Automate, and I think it's just like around about 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So it's not a very very long time, but still, if I look at, oh, wow, that was me doing this or that, it is a long time because I evolved so fast. And what I love about Power Platform is that you can start from scratch, and that the way you can evolve in that is so fast and so rapidly, and it's just like so amazing to see that people make progress so fast, and that they do not need to study and experience and to practice a whole development language upfront and then build their hello world, but that I can bring you from zero to an app that serves a business value in less than 30 minutes. And this is what totally amazed me. And it was like, first, I want to learn how that works. And second, I want to tell everyone about it. Because if I can get that, and back in that days, I perceived myself as a non-technical person at all. And it was like, when I get this, then everyone else will get it as well, because I'm a non-technical person. So they should know about that. And I think this still drives me. So learning something in order to tell everyone about it. And I found a way, just like by blogging and explaining and making it easy to digest, that people find it just like, oh yeah, perhaps it's not super intuitive, but it's doable. And if it is doable for them, they will actually take action and then try on their own. And even if it does not work from first try, they will know enough to just like continue their journey and then ask for help. And then
Right.
lucky us, we have a cool community that will then help out and say, yeah, but there was a typo, or you missed a semicolon, or whatever it is. So most of the time it's just like a minor issue, and then it works. And that is what I'm totally passionate about.
One thing I want to highlight what you said. So in attending events, which I miss live events so much, but when you said if it doesn't work, or if you first try it doesn't happen, what I left a lot of events realizing is when someone's doing a technical demo, I used to get so nervous for them when the demo didn't work. But then I actually realized when the demo is just perfect and everything's working, people are like, was it recorded? That was too easy. When there is a little bit of a hiccup, the audience is loving watching them triage what happened and, reproing the steps and finding the way to make the demo work. And so I've had to learn that in tech, sometimes the hiccups and the misses are okay, and everybody's learning with you.
Yeah, so indeed. So of course, as a speaker, I like it when my demo works.
Well, of course.
I wouldn't lie if it was not like that. But
I'm just saying, for those listening, sometimes the hiccups are okay, and you learn a little bit more together.
Yeah, but sometimes organizers ask, hey, do you want to pre-record the session, or do you want to pre-record at least the demo, so then we know that it works? And then I'm like, well, I like the adrenaline. I like that. So, and I need that. And now more than ever, because I'm talking just like into the void. So I always use that trick of having a 2-monitor setup and having the audience just like, hey, turn your camera on, and then together mode, so that I can see faces and see reactions instead of just like watching my own slides. That always works a little bit better for me. But if I observe another speaker and the demo does not work, I'm always just like observing, hey, how does she handle that? So there is an issue, and it should work, of course, and it did work previously, of course, because she was prepared. But now, how does she handle that? How does she stay calm and say, hey, I'm the expert here, and I do not need to prove that it sometimes worked or whatever, but just like I can stay calm and relax and make that work. And then you see them working, and that is just like a fascinating moment, and I really like that. And it proves just like problem solve competency, and this is what I like.
Yeah, indeed, learning together. And that's also something that I really value in you. You have like this continuous urge to share your knowledge, no matter how basic or how far advanced it is, with the community, even if it's like the smallest little trick that you discovered in an app, in a software, in whatever you are using in day-to-day life, you always want to share it with the community. And like even the smallest things, and like you said, like sometimes with blogging where you think like, oh, but everybody knows that. It's not true, right? There are so many people who really find value in that. So same, I think even as recent as you I think it was I forgot the name. It's not WhatsApp, but the other Telegram. Is it Telegram?
Telegram.
Yeah, like how to switch off when somebody of your contacts joins. Like,
oh wow, I mean, this is the most annoying message ever. So there was recently a huge move from WhatsApp to Telegram and Signal apps in consumer applications, and I received a lot of messages that whomever joined Telegram was like, yeah, well, I don't want to know. So perhaps I want to chat with them, but I do not want to get notified that they downloaded an application.
Yeah,
wow.
indeed.
I mean, how weird was that? In case someone did not know that you can turn that off, I wanted to share. And perhaps you already knew. Cool. So then please go ahead and share this knowledge as well.
Yeah, no, so indeed, thank you for that. And then, Luise, when I go back a little bit in time, although I have to say, like, I'm lost. Like, when was yesterday and when was 2 weeks ago? Which conference
it's
was
someday.
the last one?
Each day is someday.
Exactly, each day is someday. But let's say some time ago, so you did a lot of, and you still do, sketchnoting.
Yeah.
And I remember at the beginning, you were very active as like doing sketch notes at conferences, and at the same time, we'll also be open about it. It was also, oh, Luise, the sketch note girl, right? That was like kind of like the slogan who you are.
Yeah.
And you really wanted to break through that cycle. Like, I'm not just Luise, the sketch note girl. I'm Luise, the consultant. I'm Luise, the maker. I'm Luise, the citizen developer. I'm Luise, the blogger, the cook, the fun, the creative.
Is there anything she doesn't do?
On with a list when somebody asks, hey, do you know Luise? It's like, hello? How can you not know Luise?
Oh my God.
But anyways, to go back to that sketchnoting, you even got me. I found it in my memories, community memories. You even got me to create a sketchnote.
Yes.
So that's another one of your powers where you activate and motivate people around you. But to go back at a moment, I believe it was on Ignite where you did a sketchnote of such as Keynote, and he actually picked it up, commented on your sketch note. Tell us about that moment.
Yeah, so that was a very, very nice moment, of course, because it was Ignite 2019. It was back in the days when we were still allowed to travel and had huge in-person conferences. And it was Ignite taking place in Orlando. And I mean, that was a huge conference center, and it was just like super illuminated. And Satya was on stage and delivering his vision keynote, and that was already a magical moment. And I thought, hey, I want to make that vision keynote a sketch note so that people all over the world could just like reflect on what I listened to as well in a more visual way. So that was the goal. So I sketch noted in real time while he was doing that, and later just like took a screenshot of that and posted that on Twitter. And of course, I tagged Satya because it was a amazing keynote by Satya about bloom, bloom, bloom hashtags. And, it was Ignite, and I'm quite active on social media. So I turned off notifications on Twitter because I wanted to take really time to meet people and to really be present and not just like doom scrolling my phone all the time. And then someone just like tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Hey, Luise, did you see that?" And I was like, "What did I see?" And she was like, "Satya replied to your tweet." And I was like, "Yeah, that's a nice joke." And then I checked, of course, my phone and Twitter application, and thought, "Whoa, wow, that is a thing." So yes, he replied on that, and of course, this is a once in a lifetime thing because okay, so it is the one and only time where I tagged Satya. And then he replied to that tweet.
Yeah.
And
Magic.
of course, I did some research on that. He never replied on a tweet before, never did. And he never did again.
Wow.
Huh.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay, so I got a thing. So I laser tweeted this reply because I thought it was worth it.
Yeah.
So,
I have like goosebumps.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Idris, you captured the essence of the keynote so well and with such creativity. Thank you. It's great to have you as an MVP. So I was just like, wow. I don't know what to say
Did you
anymore.
cry?
No, I did not.
No?
No,
Okay.
I did not cry. But just like everyone around me was just like jumping and congratulating me, and it was just like it felt like a party, but it was some kind of unreal. And still, people talk about that, and we do here as well, of course. And it's my pinned tweet because I mean, how cool is that? And of course, it is very cool to be recognized by such a leader.
Yeah.
But yes, I just like I put all my passion and everything I knew about it and my view on that in that sketch note, and it's somehow related to people. So I got a lot of feedback on my sketch notes before that people find it easily or more easily to reflect on what they heard, and that is just a nice way to recall what session or a keynote was about and to not miss a lot of topics.
Yeah.
So I think I have a fan.
Well, you have two
Bravo.
that are on this call with you. You know, so you've mentioned a lot that you're very active on social media. And I find you just to be completely entertaining. The first time I met you virtually, I told you I had a fangirl moment because I followed you. I find your tweets entertaining. I think your selfies are just beautiful. Your photography of your cooking is like stunning. And right now we're hearing a lot about how building a brand is important. And for a lot of us, because we can't do live, we're building that brand now on all these social platforms.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. You think about each one of your posts, your tweets, your selfies, your heels. You really bring your A game when we think about your brand. What, for those listening, what would you say is so important and meaningful about building a brand?
Oh, wow. So for me, I'm an independent consultant.
Yep.
And I want to be approachable, of course,
Yeah.
but I want to have a very, very good fit with my customers to be.
Right.
So, and of course, there is a broad variety of consultants in the world. And if we just look at the skill level, of course, you will find a lot of people that know exactly what I know as well.
Right.
But still, as people are different, consultancy then will be different as well. And I want to have a really, really nice fit with my customers. And if I'm very open about who I am as a person and how I see things, and then people see that and I expose myself to the market, and then people know what they buy. And I'm not a monodimensional person. And I'm or most probably not the very typical, I don't know, PwC consultant or just like, that is not me. But as people know what they are buying, we have a very good fit. And this reduces the time that we need to spend until I understand what their issue is. And this reduces, of course, the total time that we need to spend in a project. And this makes me delivering solutions for them even faster. And then I am successful because they are successful. And my brand is super important, not just like so that I am visible, but to really have this good fit to my customers and to community, of course, as well. Because although community does not pay me to do that, it is still that they are buying something because they consume my content or they interact with me. And if you know who I am and that I'm not monodimensional. So if you know, so I do skateboard and I do cooking and I have daughters or whatever, then there will be something that you can just like say, hey, that is relatable to me. And then it is easier for you to connect with me, even if we have, I don't know, different skill levels or just a different job or just like work in a different technology. And this is why this is so important to me.
Well, I think you do an outstanding job. I love
Thank you.
following.
Indeed, Holly is
Thank you.
right about that. And then, so building your brand, Louise, right? So we now learned more about you and who you are, and of course, having you as the spotlight on the show today. There's also a lot happening behind you, right? So what you and I have in common, we love backgrounds. We love decorating it, we love changing it, then a new gadget, and basically just keep it as alive as we are, right? I absolutely love your background, even though like the whole show I was focused on you. Like sometimes my eye does fall on some things which I would very much like to have myself. Hint, hint. I'm not so sure if I never liked Izzy, but I'm sure that has a good story, what it actually means. Tell us about the items, the stories, how you got them, like what's your favorites?
Okay, so there are of course a lot of favorites. So some kinds it's just like more quotes. So the "I never liked easy" is a quote by Harvey Specter from the Netflix series Suits, and this is somehow just like relatable for me because whenever I think, yeah, well, that's not easy. Yeah, I never liked easy, so I need to have that challenge. I
But
want
you
to
like me,
grow.
right?
Of course I do. So you're not easy. You're easy. Then I have a lot of Lego. So you can see the yellow submarine from the Beatles, and you can see Wally, the little robot that needs to clean up the Earth because he's the last one, and it's just like kind of heartwarming movie, and I really like this little guy. And so wait. Then I have I told you before, so I do have a crown because yeah, as a princess, you need to have a crown and my MVP award, and then there's something that I prepared for you. So I have a Pac-Man lamp, and the ghosty is there, of course, as well. And recently, I started to knit and to crochet and to cross stitch, and I made a thing, which is this little
wow,
fat cat
she's
doll.
bigger than I expected. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so that is that.
So when you find the one thing you can't do, I think we should write a blog about that.
Yeah, exactly. So, and the thing is, so everyone was just like, wow, this is so good. And of course, it's I see all the flaws and imperfections. It's just like when you have a car and there's just like a little niche in it, you know that no one else notices that, but you will, of course. So I can see that, but I had very, very good instructions. And this comes back just like to writing good documentation. Just like, so they described everything just like step by step. And at some point they said, so if it looks like this, picture A, then proceed here because then you did it correctly. But if it looks like that, picture B, then you might want to just like do the several steps so that you can go back to A again. So it's like they were pointing out if you did something wrong. So we ran into this as well. So don't worry and don't fret, and that's okay. And it really felt good. So and then I proceeded to make this, and I think it looks nice.
Well done, well done. And what about the Mario, which of course catches my attention?
Of course. So this here is it's called Evo Timebox, and it's a Bluetooth speaker, and I run some Super Mario and Luigi pictures in there. And the thing is, it comes with an app. And in this app, a huge community will provide you with those visuals, which you can then just like apply on this gadget. But you can also create your own ones. And I really like it because it's somehow pixel art. Just like cross stitching is pixel art as well. And I even did just like pixel art for stickers. So, and I love Lego, which is pixel art as well in a sense. So it just like all ties in nicely together again.
Beautiful.
And now I have a lot of just like toys on my desk.
Show us one of them.
Yeah, so yeah, because I took everything out of the shelf, but you can see here, this is the Millennium Falcon microfighter,
Yeah.
and Han flies solo.
Did you build it?
Got it?
Yeah. Han flies solo.
Yeah. Of course I built it.
Yeah.
And then I have just like this little bell here.
Ooh,
Is that for
what
when
does
you
the bell
want
do?
gin?
Brings
Is
food.
that when you
Brings
want
gin.
gin?
So
Just
one would think that I ring it if I want gin, but as I live alone somehow, it doesn't really make sense. But I ring it whenever a new Pimpieron Device.com order comes in, and just to
that's
cheer.
cool.
That's awesome.
And it's a very analog thing, but I still like it. And then I have one as well. But this is the last one that I need to show, and an issue occurred today with it because it's Clippy, but Clippy lost one of his eyebrows, so he needs to go to the beauty salon again, and perhaps I will fix this later.
Which is
this
closed
afternoon.
now, right? It's closed.
Yeah, it's closed, unfortunately. Yes.
Well, I have loved having you on the show. I love your unique personality and the so many different dimensions that you have shared with us today. I think it just shows our listeners that you can love tech, you can love community, you can love Legos, you can be a princess. We don't have to fit into a box and define what your passion is and make that your day-to-day endeavor, because I think that's why you're always so happy and you're always so alive and energetic. It's because you allow your passion to run your day. So for everybody listening, tell us what you thought about the episode. Join us for the next few that we have coming. We are so thankful, Luise, that you have joined us. We are very privileged to have you on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It was a great pleasure.
Thank you so much, Luise. Thank you.